Welcome back to the channel, where we explore some of the most shocking and heartbreaking true crime cases. Today's case is one that will leave you stunned. It's a story about a 14-year-old girl, Gregg, a once bright high school student who went from being known for her academic success and popularity to becoming the center of a crime that has captivated the public. Carly is now infamous for something unimaginable, the brutal murder of her own mother. But what had led to this? How did a young girl with so much promise end up in this devastating situation? Let's take a deep dive into Carly's life, the tragic events leading up to that fateful day, and that intense trial that followed. Buckle up because this one is chilling. On March 19, 2024, 14-year-old Gregg sent a message that made her friends panic. The text read, "I messed up, I need help." Her friends knew Carly had been acting strange for a while now. She'd done things like drinking hand sanitizer as a prank gone wrong, bringing a knife into school, and even stealing exam answers from her teacher's desk. So when Carly said she was in trouble, her friends took it seriously. One friend asked her, "Should I call 911? But Carly's response was quick, "You can't do that." Alarmed, a couple of her friends rushed over. One rode his bike over and another got dropped off by her dad. When her friends arrived at Carly's door, they did not find her in a panic. Instead, she seemed calm, almost too calm. Carly asked one of them, "Are you squeamish? Have you ever seen a dead body?" Confused and uneasy, her friend said no. Carly then led her friend to the bedroom, and there on the floor was something they could have never prepared for, a lifeless body. Quick disclaimer, Carly has been diagnosed with bipolar disorder, though there's debate about that diagnosis. However, it's important to remember that having a mental health condition doesn't automatically mean someone will become violent. As we go deeper into this case, keep in mind the intense emotions involved, especially during Carly's trial. One part of the trial that often gets attention is when jurors give the guilty verdict. It's a powerful, emotional moment as each juror is asked to confirm their verdict. For Carly, who was only 15 at the time, this was especially intense. During her trial, each of the 36 jurors had to confirm one by one that they believed Carly was guilty of first-degree murder. As each guilty verdict was read, Carly's face changed, from no reaction to confusion, then to full sobbing. She looked at her family, but there was nothing they could do. 6 months prior, Carly was an honor student, even named Student of the Year at her high school, and was known to be popular with lots of friends. No one could have imagined that her life and her mother's would end up like this. What happened between March 2024 and now in September that led to the 15-year-old Gregg being sentenced to life in prison? Here's how it all went down. You might wonder why each of the 12 jurors had to confirm their verdict 36 times. That's because Carly was convicted on 3 separate charges, and each juror had to confirm each charge one by one. Now, Carly was known for being a good kid, smart, well-behaved, and rarely in trouble. Her mom, Mrs. Smiley, was a popular math teacher at the high school. Carly's friends, let's call them Jason and Jenny, had noticed something was off with her behavior. Starting in March 2024, Carly began acting strange, as if she was hiding something. She seemed distant and her behavior and actions became risky. It was unsettling for her friends to watch her change. Carly had started acting out. She got caught with a knife at school, stole exam answers from her teacher, and was passing them around to other students. It just wasn't like her. She had been an academic star, scoring a 70 on the ACT as a sophomore, which placed her in the top 7% nationwide. Now, though her friends were worried, Jason and Jenny decided to tell Carly's mom, hoping it would be a wake-up call. They planned an intervention, figuring it might make Carly mad, but it was for her own good. So Jenny offered to distract Carly after school while Jason went to talk to Mrs. Smiley. He told Mrs. Smiley not to confront Carly right away, especially not about the rumors that Carly might be hiding drugs in her room. Jason didn't want Carly to know it was him and Jenny who tipped off her mom. After school, as Jason biked over to Carly's house to check in on her, he saw police cars outside. That day, a tragic series of events had already unfolded, ending in murder. Carly had been hiding in a storm drain, a dark, cramped, smelly place meant for draining storm water, not crawling inside. She emerged from the drain, wet and disorientated, with police waiting for her. Despite the situation, she seemed oddly calm. The officer swabbed her hands for gunshot residue, asking her questions. Carly, a petite 14-year-old with brown, short hair, responded politely, almost as if this were some routine checkup. When the officers asked, "Which hand did you shoot with?" Carly looked a bit confused and replied, "I don't remember." She then asked if her stepdad was okay. The officer answered gently, "I don't know, baby. I can't talk to you about that. It's likely a southern expression," but the cop's tone was calm. Carly had no idea her mom, Mrs. Smiley, had been found dead in their home and that her stepdad, Heath, had been shot and wounded. After the police arrived and searched the area, they quickly found Carly in the storm drain, not even an hour later. So, what really happened? Even the police weren't sure. They knew the answers had to be somewhere, and they found a small hidden camera with the key footage. Usually, this camera sat on a high shelf in the kitchen, pointing towards the back door, so it could capture a view of the kitchen and part of the living room. But this time, they found it hidden in the refrigerator, tucked behind water bottles, almost like someone wanted to keep it out of sight. The police uploaded the footage, and as they watched, they probably felt a strange unease. Seeing people move around in their own homes, unaware of being watched, is unsettling. This footage, now publicly available, shows a different side of Carly and her mother, Ashley. Carly's usually relaxed demeanor seems tense in these clips, almost as if she knows something's about to happen. Here's what the police already knew. Carly's friend had recently told her mom, Ashley, that Carly had been hiding weed and vape pens in her room. It's likely Ashley planned to search Carly's room once they got home. The footage starts with Carly quietly sneaking back into the house through the back door, bringing the family's 2 golden retrievers in from the yard. At first, she's moving cautiously, almost as if she's listening for something, and sneaking around the kitchen. Carly pokes her head into the living room, checks left, checks right, and then moves quickly down the hall. She soon comes back into the frame, holding something behind her back. It looks as though she's holding a gun, though she's careful to keep it mostly out of sight. Then there's a loud gunshot. The dogs had been roaming around happily start to pace, clearly anxious. A high-pitched squeal rings out, then 2 more gunshots. For a moment, everything is still. The dogs seem confused, pacing around the kitchen, sensing that something is very wrong. Carly then walks back into the kitchen without showing any signs of fear or panic, holding something behind her back. She sits down at the counter and carefully places it where the camera can't capture it. She takes out her phone and begins texting her friends, acting though nothing unusual just has happened, even casually cleaning her ear with her pinky, completely relaxed. In the background, there's a soft, strained moan like a final breath. Carly briefly listens but remains calm and expressionless. The whole moment feels unsettling, almost like a scene from a thriller movie. At this point, Carly is acting almost like a professional investigator, completely calm, cool, and collected. While the dogs are pacing nervously around her, Carly keeps her composure, takes the gun from behind her back, and then heads briskly to the right. The dogs, confused and frightened, watch her, tails down, clearly distressed. When Carly returns, her mother has already died from the gunshots. Carly then calmly tells the dogs that everything's fine, leading them back outside to the yard. She's showing no emotion at all, looking just like any other kid who got home from school, but she's also texting her friends saying there's an emergency. When one of them arrives, she bluntly asks, "Have you ever seen a dead body? Are you squeamish? Do you want to see one?" Carly had shot her mother in the face 3 times. She then tells her friend to wait outside, adding, "I put 3 in my mom and I'm going to put another 3 in my stepdad when he gets home." Carly even used her mom's phone to send a text to her stepdad saying, "Are you home, honey?" And that's the tragic story of Carly Gregg. She may have been a young girl with mental health struggles, but the question remains, should she have been treated differently, or was she fully responsible for her actions? It's a debate that will likely continue for years to come. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think Carly's mental health played a major role in what happened, or should she be held accountable for her actions? I'd love to hear your thoughts. And remember, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all the latest true crime cases. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay safe out there.